welcome to another episode of Open Book with Eitan and Itai. It's a bit of a somber episode. It's not an episode we were expecting to do, but we wanted to honor the memory of the late Rabbi Twerski, who was extremely cherished by the Jewish people, and not just by the Jewish people. He touched so many lives. Itai, Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov, Eitan. Shavua Tov, our listeners.
Shavua Tov to our listeners. Chodesh Adar Sameach. Tzomei Sameach.
Purim. Happy Purim.
Yeah, happy Purim. So, like I said, we were originally actually supposed to do a show with Rabbi Twerski's daughter-in-law, Lisa Twerski. But of course, they had a family tragedy now, so we're adjusting things. We want to honor Rabbi Twerski, like I said. I wanted to actually show you a video, Itai, if I could, of Rabbi Twerski, and then maybe we can talk about it for a little bit.
Okay.
There's a very interesting story about the Rebbe of Kotsk, who came across a young man who was clearly enjoying a dish of fish that he was eating. And he said, young man, why are you eating that fish? And the young man says, because I love fish. He says, oh, you love the fish? That's why you took it out of the water and killed it and boiled it. He said, don't tell me you love the fish. You love yourself. And because the fish tastes good to you, therefore, you took it out of the water and killed it and boiled it. So much of what is love, right, is fish love, right?
So anyways, this video is one of the first videos I saw of Rabbi Twerski. It blew my mind. I wanted to share it. So back in a time when I was more known on Twitter and things like that, I shared it on Twitter. Hundreds of, not Jews, Goyim, hundreds of Goyim reacted to it. They shared it. They said their opinion. It touched something that, you know, people, things have changed in the past 50 years, in the past 100 years. That people aren't getting married, and if they're getting married, they're getting divorced. And people feel that something's wrong. So when someone like Rabbi Twerski comes along and he gives a clue, you know, I believe, in our first episode you mentioned religion having all the answers, if you remember, more or less. So I don't know if I would agree with that statement. I would say that Judaism, I always feel like Judaism has the answers. And when I look at a tragedy in maybe a non-Jewish person's life or a non-religious person's life, sometimes I feel like, wow, the answer is right there. You know, like, just when I see someone get a divorce or something, like, wow, if, you know,
there's a little bit more.
Rabbi Arush.
Rabbi
Twerski, yeah.
Rabbi Twerski.
I'm teasing you a little bit because like everyone has their stuff, but I'm saying that it touched. You know, when something is true, you can say it quiet, and everyone in the room will hear it.
Right.
And you see in these videos, he talks quietly, calmly, especially towards the end of his life. He had no strength to talk.
Right.
And it carries to thousands of people, thousands and thousands. You can't even imagine to get views on videos like this. It's not like a cat jumping up and down, you know.
Yeah.
It's an old man talking. and people watch it. People watch it, you know. You think people when I posted that on Twitter, you think people were going on Twitter to see a rabbi tell them what is really love? You know? They weren't going on there for that. But it touched something honest. How do you feel about what he said?
I 100% think it's right. And I spoke yesterday with a friend of mine. We spoke also about love in the religious people and the non-religious. He's non-religious.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I mentioned, and you said also, in the past 100 years, like, it goes less and less. Like, people, I spoke with someone in the army who told me, I'm not sure when I'll get married, if I'll get married. Maybe I will want to stay.
Yeah, and you know what? When we were in yeshiva, Rav Bigon, the Rosh Yeshiva where we were, he used to say, Yesh mishu sherotze litchaten kan? Is there someone here that wants to get married? And every man would raise their hand. Now, you go into any college in America and you ask that question, hey, anyone here wants to get married? Yeah, If there's more than 10 hands, I'm going to be surprised. I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be shocked. And it says something. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think one of the big things that stop people from getting married, it's because the fish love, as Rabbi Twerski called it, got more serious. Like, people love themselves so much, and they feel loving someone else or spending their own time for someone else, they don't like it because it's not good for them, right?
Right.
The benefit is less than if you'll get a good job, a lot of money, and it's because they love themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of time,
they don't want responsibility also.
Yeah, it's their responsibility. I think it's the first thing in love. It's to think about the other. Like, if you have someone that you love and you want to buy him a present, what would you buy?
Something that I want.
No. That's a good trick. So you want to think about the other, the lovable man, the beloved.
Right.
About his feelings. And a lot of times, I think that also what helps couples to become stronger. It's when one side of the couple will choose not to do something that he will benefit for the other.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
For the other. And why? Because it's not a fish love. It's not a fish love.
Hashem. You know, okay, I was going to say something, but I'll get to it in a minute. Actually, I think there's a huge in a religious marriage, even if you could be so angry at your spouse and you don't love them in that moment, you can still treat them good and as if you love them because you love the Creator. Because they have that constant love. Now, I didn't want to get too far away from Rabbi Twerski, but I briefly want to mention something. I was reading an excellent book by Rabbi Manis Friedman, who we spoke about before. And he talks about a guy who just went through college, went through this, from one girl to another. And he never cheated on one girl, but he never stayed with one for long. He saw another girl, he broke up, and he got married, and he was mamash searching for something the whole time, and they don't know what they're searching for. And then he stayed at his friend's house, and they're married. And he said, like, how do you guys have so much passion? And they're like, oh, we started doing this stuff, like, like Taharat Mishpacha, like keeping the laws of Judaism. Come, let us introduce you to Rabbi Manis Friedman. And, like, it changed his life. It changed his life till he was mature enough to get married. So that's pretty cool. So, Rabbi Twerski's on the right page, for sure.
I very love that you can see how the Judaism, the halachot also, it changes the way you think. It helps like הצד הפסיכולוגי של האדם, like
the psychological aspect of man.
Yeah, and it's really when you speak about also המכתבים לטליה, when he explains טהרת המשפחה. I was explaining to my friend טהרת המשפחה, and I also dove in his books, in his letters.
Right.
He explained, and I'm so glad to have the Torah when I know it helps you in your entire life.
Yeah.
In your entire, and all the aspects, with your wife, with your friends, with your children, chinuch, with your parents. It's amazing.
Right. So I wanna move next into a discussion about a little bit about Rabbi Twerski as a writer. How did he connect to writing? But first, I just want to say to our listeners that our sponsor, Pomeranz Bookseller, offers pretty much all of the 90 books that Rabbi Twerski wrote. And with mamash, with respect to Rabbi Twerski, anyone who wants to give them a call or WhatsApp can call or WhatsApp at 02-623-5559. That's 02-623-5559. These books really touch the heart. Alright, back to the show. So, one thing, just as me, that I feel about myself, that I'm like, I'm a writer. I just have to admire that Rabbi Twerski ended up, his last book was his 90th book. You can see it right there, 90th book. And, like, kol hakavod to him. And he said that everyone's addicted to something, and he's addicted to writing. So, I've been trying to get there, because that's so cool. And
I don't think he wrote 90 books. He said he wrote only one book, right?
Oh, 90 different ways.
Yeah, in many different ways. Because he said that all of his books are around the same thing, right? Around the self-esteem. So I heard him speaking. There was a video released, mamash, I think, a day after he passed away.
Wow.
With some woman he was on the chair, on the wheelchair. Didn't look good, and he was proud. Yeah, he was proud about his books that he did, and he was able to help people.
We lost this year a lot of big souls, and just in the past few months with Rabbi Steinsaltz, Rabbi Sachs, Rabbi Twerski, and the truth is that losing Rabbi Twerski really hit me hard, and I wasn't expecting it, and I had to think about why. And I just thought about the books I've read from him. He puts into his books stories from his life, stories about when he was a kid, stories of now. You just feel like you know him, and then like so many people I know him. They met him, they spoke to him. They lived in his neighborhood here, and like I didn't get that opportunity, but still I mamash cried, and I was shocked. Like I don't cry on Tisha B'Av even, so like I don't know if I'm on the right page. Yeah, I don't know if I'm on the right page, but I'm saying that he really put himself into the books also. And he talks about his mistakes. He talks about times when he was a kid and he did the wrong thing. And that makes him human. And in some ways, more of a tzaddik, because we all consider him a tzaddik. Like, everyone considers him a tzaddik. But for sure, like, if you asked him, like, no, like, do you think of yourself as a tzaddik? He would say, no, I did this and this and this and this. And just yesterday I did that. And because of that, you can't help but love him. This woman, I think the day after he passed, she called to order some of his books, and we talked. She told me a story on the phone. She said like this. She said, he wouldn't hug women, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
So he wouldn't hug women, but he would when he saw a woman he knew and he was friends with, he would hug himself, and he would shake from side to side, and he would say, this is from me to you, or something along those lines. And that's that shows so much love. I think a lot of people use halacha as a way to be rude. I think a lot of people use corona restrictions as a way to be rude. Like they're like they'll be
2
like
meters, 2
2 meters, don't sit by me on the bus, like Hosipur, and like it's not. Well, I don't want to talk about specific people, so I'll move on. But I'm saying, he didn't do that. He didn't do that, and that was really nice. There's so much love. There's so much work. You can just hear people. You know how many people, especially women, to tell you the truth. I love Rabbi Twerski. Non-religious woman. I love Rabbi Twerski. My wife read dozens of his books. She used to get every book of his she could get her hands on. That's what she read in high school. Rabbi Twerski, Rabbi Twerski, Rabbi Twerski. Like, that's special. That's really special.
Yeah. Only dozen from 90. She has a long way.
Yeah, she needs to complete it. Well, you read one, you get the idea. I'm joking, actually. No, the truth is, especially with the last few, I really started seeing like a big difference. And when his new book came out, which is called Talis and Tefillin, Bagel and Lux, which is kind of a silly name, but when I was reading it, I felt like okay, this is going to be his last book. And then he did pass a few days later. And the reason I felt that way is because he was putting mamash all his years of wisdom into the book, and everything he learned from life he was putting into that book, and it just felt like serious, It felt serious. It felt like a serious book.
Yeah. At least we can see the bright side. He wrote 90 books.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wisdom that he left here,
right?
And people can read it, and it can still help people, even though he's not here.
I honestly don't think, as important as the books were, I don't think that just the books is his legacy. I think the books that are going to be written about him and what he did and how he inspired people, I think that those books are going to, obviously, Bezat Hashem, his books will last, but I think those will have more of an impact, let's say in 100 years. Hopefully there will be Moshiach by then, but in 100 years, those books will have more impact. The stories about him, how many lives he touched. There's a story in a group chat that I heard, which is crazy, and they just said how many people can one person affect. So they said a story that there was a guy in Alcoholics Anonymous, and they said if someone here's life was saved by that guy or by someone that knew that guy, raise your hand. So everyone raised their hand. Everyone in the room raised their hand, the whole room. But that guy's life was saved by Rabbi Twerski. So you can just imagine how many thousands just from his work with alcoholics. You can you imagine? That's crazy. Right. And then he saved. There's a book called The Rabbi and the Nuns that he wrote, and you see all this things he helped the nuns. He helped this. He helped non-Jews. He helped. It's just crazy. And just think about this. He helped those people, but then they're gonna have kids,
and they will do.
And those kids will be affected by the values that were taught by Rabbi Twerski. So you just get it. It's just infinity. It's just really infinity with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you a secret. It's not only with the big rabbi. Even a human being that did a good thing to someone else, it changed his day, and his day was different, and it goes on. If I try when I see a bus driver, a waiter, to smile and say.
You have to smile.
And
you have to smile.
I think also those small stuff could change their day, and then they could do better stuff in the day, and it can go on. The first thing I told myself, I tried in the beginning of the corona to see what can we learn from it.
Right.
You can learn a lot, but I realized a thing that one human being did. He went to that store, right?
Wow.
It affects the entire store. Everyone can't now go out of the house. And
so how much can a smile affect?
Yeah. So
well, I learned a new trick, which is, a lot of people, when they get off the bus, they say thank you. But the bus, when you're trying to get on, it doesn't always stop for you. Sometimes it passes you. So my new trick is when I get on the bus, I say thank you.
So,
but I'm saying there is a concept like that when you smile at everyone you see, guess what? The next day, maybe not the next day, but in a week, 2 weeks, all those same people are gonna smile when they see you. So you're creating happy regions for yourself. He has a book. He has a book here called Smiling Each Day. It's just something that you can smile about every day. And then it's in the bottom. It says, "Today I shall smile because." Just think about that.
And you're right.
Yeah, and you write it. Yeah, because you have to do your ishtadlut. So you really have to do your ishtadlut, and that's important. Yeah. And I just really feel like we have a lot to learn about our midot, and just about being a human. I think it's enough in this point. First be a human. We spoke a little bit about it. Don't try to be a big rabbi. Be a human being, like you were saying. Smile, love just because. That's the good stuff.
Don't be a big rabbi. Be a big human being.
You can be a big rabbi, but first be a big human being. Yeah. So, anyways, that's gonna conclude our show. Itai, it's a pleasure to be with you always, and I hope we can.
Of course, it's a pleasure to be with you also. And